Frequency capping is a setting within Google Ads that will limit the amount of times your display or video ads will appear to a specific user. Now, frequency capping works a little bit differently between display and video campaigns. So in this video, we will cover those differences. We'll show you how you can implement frequency capping, whether it's a campaign that's already live or a new video campaign that you're already setting. And then at the end, we'll cover a few of the columns you can add to your stats table to see if it will help you make better optimization decisions for your frequency capping. I'm going to start talking about how to set up frequency capping for a display campaign, because I think that one's a little bit easier and quicker. For a display campaign, you already have to have the display campaign live. So that means you've created it and it's published, whether it's running or not. It seems odd that you can't already establish frequency capping while you're building a new display campaign, but that's just the way it is. So I'm going to go over, just choose my display campaigns and just pick any one of them. You're probably going to see a few red warnings all over the place. That's fine. This is our demo account. But just choose one of your display campaigns and then go into settings. Then you'll need to find the little arrow right next to additional settings and click on that. And then we can scroll down and see frequency management. So let's open this up. No surprise, the default option will let Google show your ads however they want. And honestly, that's how I typically start off many of my display campaigns. Let it run for a little bit, see how it performs, and then come back and make adjustments. But maybe your budget is limited. And if you're going for a little bit of reach with the display campaign, you may want more eyeballs on your ads and not just the same users over and over. And that's fine. So then you want to go to set a preference. And for display campaigns, you can see that we're controlling the number of impressions your ads have to a particular user. So right now it says whole campaign, but if we go to the drop down, we can control the impressions for each user at the campaign level, which is the default option, or you can choose the ad group level or an individual ad level. As of now, third-party cookies are used to track impressions. Google says if those aren't available, then first-party cookies are used to approximate impressions. But with the state of cookies nowadays, who knows if that's going to be changing? And I'm not going to get into the whole cookie debate. That's for a different video. So again, the default option is whole campaign. But you see, in this fake campaign, there are a couple ad groups. And we know in Google Ads, you can only have one final URL per ad group. So maybe in between these two ad groups, I'm testing different landing pages. I can then choose each ad group. So now it says manage impressions for each ad group 2, and then select your amount. For now, I just put in 5, just made up a number here. And then we move to the last drop down. So then to finish it off, we would be telling Google, I want to show 5 impressions to each user from each ad group per day or per week or per month. Only 5 impressions per month? That seems pretty low. I'd keep it per day. I'm not using any data to make these decisions. I'm just showing you how you can do it within your account. And I already talked about cookies a little bit, but I did forget to mention that we have to keep in mind that users can drop out of cookies. If they do, their frequency cap would refresh, and then they would start anew depending on what your number and your settings were for your frequency capping. Now I said ad group, and I used a landing page test as an example, but maybe you were just doing ad creative test. You can switch it up to be per ad, but then you have to remember all the different ad sizes, especially if you're manually uploading image ads in all the approved ad sizes. It's not for each ad variant, because you see we can't cap impressions by, let's say, an ad label or a particular naming convention of an ad. It's by each ad. So if my ad groups within this fake Halloween display campaign have a lot of different ad sizes, it's now 5 impressions per ad size, not just 5 for each ad group. So this is going to give me much more impressions than my original frequency capping setting. But that's pretty much it from the display side. So I'm going to go and click save. And there we see our new frequency capping is set for this display campaign. If you ever want to go and make changes, you can always come back to this section just how we found it. Click on settings, click on the additional settings, and there you will see frequency management in the dropdown. Now let's talk about frequency capping for video campaigns. And unlike display campaigns, you can set frequency capping while you're building a new video campaign. So just to get started, I will go to the video campaign section. And here, let's go and create a new campaign. Go ahead and choose whichever objective you want. And of course, we need video. I'm going to ignore the subtype and just click continue. Similar to the display campaigns, we need to find the additional settings. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. There we go. This one's highlighted in blue. And the second option just below devices is frequency capping. Now here's where we see the main difference of frequency capping between display and video campaigns. Because earlier I said display campaigns really only limit impressions. Well, for video campaigns, we can set frequency caps for impressions. We can set a frequency cap for views, Or we can select both of them so you have a frequency cap on both the impressions and the views. Now, another frequency capping difference between display and video campaigns is in this section I'm highlighting right here. Frequency capping for video campaigns can only be applied at the campaign level. So we are not going to get the opportunity to do it by ad group or by ad like we did with the display campaigns. Campaign only. Let's choose these one at a time. I'm going to click on cap impression frequency. So for the impressions cap, I put 25, and the frequency is the same as display per day, per week, per month. I'll just leave it as per week. Then you see we can add an additional impression cap. So for this particular video campaign, users can only have 25 impressions of my video ad per week, but they won't have more than 5 impressions per day. You don't have to add multiple cap layers, but I just wanted to show you that you do have the option. I'm going to uncheck the cap impression frequency, and now let's look at the cap view frequency. And there we see it's pretty much the same thing. Instead of the impressions cap, we get the view cap, and for the frequency, we can see it's per day, per week, per month. Now, when you're setting impression or view caps for your video campaigns, it's probably really important to understand what counts as an impression and what counts as a view for your video campaigns. Because views for video campaigns aren't as clear as we think. A view can be counted when someone watches or engages with the video ad. So if you're running skippable in-stream campaigns, someone skips the ad early enough that it's not counted as a view. But if they click on anything like your call to action extensions, your companion banner, your shopping cards, that's going to be counted as a view. And if you're running unskippable in-stream ads, like a 6-second bumper ad, any view of a 6-second bumper ad, since it's under 11 seconds, it's not counted towards the vanity view count on the video. However, the user still saw it. But from the cookie standpoint, it will count as a view for your frequency capping settings. Hopefully that's not too confusing. If you're running in-feed ads, formerly TrueView Discovery video ads, a user has to click on that ad to watch it. It's not going to automatically play for them because that video format sends users to the video watch page. So just having the ad appear under the video search results or recommended video off to the side, that's going to be just the impression. Once the user clicks on your in-feed video ad, then the view will start to be counted. And one thing I should mention is that the number you put in for the cap, whether it's impressions or views, it needs to be a whole number. Can't really have a half of view or a half of impression. That doesn't make sense. But this is a new campaign build. I'm not going to go ahead and save it. But you just have to go through the process of finishing your campaign, finishing your ad group, making your video ads, and publishing the campaign. Then your frequency capping will be in place before you even launch. I'm just going to X out of this, and then I'm just going to choose another video campaign I already have created. Because just like display, you can change the frequency capping for a video campaign that is already created. So we'd have to just click on the campaign name, click on settings like we did with display, scroll down, find additional settings one more time, and there we see the frequency capping. You can go ahead, make all your adjustments, and then you could save it. There are a few more things about video campaigns we should keep in mind about frequency capping. So let's say I'm creating a new video campaign, and the video I want to use for the new campaign is the same video I'm using in several other video campaigns. Well, the other impressions and views in the campaigns that are already live, those are going to count towards my frequency capping for the new campaign. I didn't show it in this demo, but when you are creating video ads in Google Ads, you're not uploading a video ad like you would upload an image ad for display. For a video ad, you're pasting in the URL of the YouTube video because your video has to be uploaded to a YouTube channel. So the cookies for the impressions and views are all done by the linked video. It's not a separate file like we can do with different ad sizes with display campaigns. That's why the impressions and views are going to be shared. So for any in-stream and bumper ads, if a user reaches the frequency cap for that campaign, Google will stop showing the campaign to the user. If your other campaigns that are using the same video do not have a frequency cap, they could still see your video ad in those other campaigns. And then if that's the case, that's when I'd really start to consider my campaign structure. It's okay to question why the same audience could see the same video in multiple campaigns. There could be a particular reason, but just ask yourself, is it necessary? So those are the ways where we could set up frequency capping for our display and video campaigns. But if you haven't implemented it before and you want to see some information about frequency in your current campaigns that are running, there are some columns we can add within Google Ads. So to show you this, I'm going to hop into a different account that actually has some campaigns running so we can see what these columns look like with real numbers in them. Okay, I'm in a different account. It's running a pretty small YouTube campaign. The easiest way to start seeing some reach and frequency type metrics within the stat columns would be to go to your column section, and you should be seeing reach metrics. This is not something that I created and saved. This is just one of the default views. So yes, we see some unique users. Next column is average impression frequency per user. Next, we see the same, but for the past 7 days. And here we see frequency distribution. We see the 1 number matches the unique users. Makes sense. But out of those unique users, just over 3,500 of them has seen it a second time. This campaign already has frequency capping in place. So when it does that, clearly we're not going to have the frequency numbers be high. But this is a good view to look at if you're running a new video campaign without any frequency capping. Then you can go back to these views, see the average impression frequency per user, look at your frequency distribution. And then if you feel it's just too high per user, go back into your settings and make those adjustments. I'm pretty sure you're going to see the reach metrics view in your columns, but just in case you don't, or you don't want all of the columns, you can go to modify columns, scroll down a little bit, we see reach metrics, and here's where the options are going to be. If I wanted to add average impression frequency, looking at the past average 30 days instead of 7, I could do that. But notice in these column selections over here, which ones are for video only. I told you when we came to this account, I'm in a video campaign view. If you are looking at display campaign metrics, we only get unique users and average impression frequency per user. So you're gonna have to look at those differently. So then if I apply it, well, I forgot to move it around, so it's at the back. There we see a little bit difference between the 7-day and the 30-day. Not too much because I already have frequency capping in place. So that's a pretty good introduction to Google Ads frequency capping. Really easy to go into your settings, especially after you have a campaign launched. There are clear differences to how frequency capping works for display campaigns and video campaigns, but at least they're pretty straightforward and easy to use in your campaign settings. If you have any questions about frequency capping, or maybe how to review the frequency data, please let us know in the comments below.
Thanks for watching our video. If you found it useful, give us a thumbs up below.
We release a new video at least once a week, so if you want to see more from the Paid Media Pros channel, be sure to subscribe.